Welcome to the last episode of our M&A series. Today we're going to dive into what happens after the deal closes, how to maximize value, avoid stagnation, and ensure long-term operational success. Mergers aren't just about signing contracts, they're about delivering results. And that requires a well-executed post-merger optimization strategy. You've closed the deal. The press release is out. The teams have met. Now what? Too often, companies treat post merger operations as an afterthought, leading to underwhelming results. In this episode, we'll walk through the key strategies to drive long term value post merger and how to avoid some of the most common pitfalls. Let's dive in. A merger is only successful if it creates measurable value. But what does that actually look like? Let's break it down. Revenue growth. Now that the entities have merged, is the newly combined organization achieving its projected revenue strategies? Are cross selling and upselling opportunities being effectively leveraged? Has the expanded customer base translated into increased market share? Or are there unforeseen integration challenges slowing the momentum? Beyond the numbers, are sales teams aligned and equipped to execute the new go to market strategy? Tracking these factors will determine whether the merger is delivering the expected financial uplift or if strategic adjustments are needed. The next one here I want to go over is cost synergies. Have redundancies been eliminated without disrupting operations? Merging organizations often leads to overlapping roles, systems, and processes. Have cost saving initiatives such as process documentation and realignment, supplier contract renegotiations, or technical integrations been executed effectively? You may want to also look at your human capital and reduce headcount, but I encourage you first to aim to streamline and work on efficiency rather than just cutting headcount because it's easier and faster to do that. I find that leaders often just jump to this choice first as a reactive response to cutting costs without fully understanding the business impact. And more importantly, have these changes streamlined operations without causing disruption to productivity, employee morale, or customer experience. Achieving cost synergies isn't just about cutting expenses, it's also about optimizing your resources in ways that enhance overall efficiency while maintaining business continuity and growth. The next one here is employee retention and productivity. Are key leaders and employees staying engaged? The success of any integration depends on retaining top talent and reassuring employees remain motivated. Have key leaders and high performing employees chosen to stay, or has uncertainty led to attrition? Beyond retention, are teams fully engaged, productive, and aligned with the new organizational vision? Are cultural differences being addressed proactively to foster collaboration? Are cultural differences being addressed proactively to foster collaboration? Monitoring employee sentiment, providing clear communication, and ensuring leaders are empowered to drive engagement will determine whether the workforce is thriving or quietly disengaging, sometimes referred to as quiet quitting. And the last one here is customer experience metrics. Are customers benefiting from this merger? A successful merger should create value not just for the business, but also for your customers. Have service levels improved, or are customers experiencing disruptions? Are response times, product offerings, and overall satisfaction meeting or exceeding expectations? And has this integration led to enhanced innovation, better pricing, or expanded support options? Tracking key customer experience metrics such as like your net performance score, the NPS, your churn rate, things like customer feedback will reveal whether this merger is delivering on its promise or if adjustments are actually needed to prevent any dissatisfaction and potential loss of any of that business. I actually recommend that you measure the results quarterly for the first 2 years of this merger. If KPIs are declining, it's time to reassess your integration strategies. So, for the first 12 months post merger, it's a good idea to set a foundation for long term success. Here's a simple roadmap to ensure operational efficiency. Okay, so this is the first 90 days. You'll want to start to stabilize and align. Identify and eliminate redundant processes. Mergers often lead to operational redundancies, overlapping workflows, duplicative approval chains, and inefficiencies in the day to day function. Conduct a process audit to pinpoint unnecessary steps, streamline workflows, and ensure teams are working within a unified operational framework. The goal here is to optimize efficiency without sacrificing productivity. You'll want to align your financial reporting and forecasting. Financial visibility is critical in the early stages of integration. Standardizing financial reporting ensures consistency in how performance is measured and how leadership makes data driven decisions. And this includes consolidating your financial statements and key metrics, establishing a unified budget and forecasting model, aligning accounting practices, tax structures, and compliance requirements. Clear financial alignment prevents costly missteps, ensures the organization is on track to meet its synergy targets. Next up, evaluate IT systems and plan for full integration. Technology plays a central role in post merger efficiency. So, conduct a full IT audit to assess which systems should be consolidated, upgraded, or phased out, how data integration will be handled without disrupting operations, and cybersecurity measures to protect sensitive business and customer information. A clear IT roadmap ensures a smooth transition and prevents technology from becoming a bottleneck in this integration process. Next, we're going to focus on months 4 through 9. This is where you want to focus on optimize and integrate. Okay. By this stage, the foundational work has been completed, or it should be completed. And the focus should now shift toward deeper integration, efficiency improvements, and cultural alignment. The goal is to refine operations, maximize synergies, and create a seamless experience for employees, customers, and partners. The first thing here is you want to optimize your supply chain and vendor contracts. A merger often results in overlapping supplier relationships, inefficiencies in procurement, and missed opportunities for cost savings. This period is ideal for things like vendor consolidation, where identifying redundant supplier agreements and negotiating better terms through bulk purchasing power. Logistics and distribution optimization. You want to streamline your supply chain processes to reduce delays and lower costs. And you'll improve service delivery. Risk management. You'll want to ensure supply chain resilience by assessing potential vulnerabilities and diversifying key supplier relationships. A well optimized supply chain not only cut costs, but it also enhances the organization's ability to meet your customers' demand. Next, here is you want to standardize your customer service and sales workflows. Customers should experience a smooth transition, not friction, from this merger. This requires aligning service and sales functions to ensure consistency across all interactions. Key steps to include here on this one is unifying your CRM and your customer data. Integrate systems to provide a single view of customer interactions and reduce fragmentation. You'll also want to standardize sales processes by aligning pricing models, contract terms, and sales enablement tools to streamline deal closures. Next, here is enhancing support channels. Ensure customer service teams have consistent policies, training, and escalation procedures to maintain satisfaction levels. When service and sales teams operate within a unified strategy, customers' trust strengthens and revenue opportunities increase. And the very last thing I want to mention here in this phase is you want to conduct a deep dive into your cultural alignment. Culture can make or break a merger. By this phase, teams are settling into their new structure, but potential culture clashes may surface. To create a cohesive workforce, first identify and address your cultural gaps. You can conduct things like employee surveys, feedback sessions, and leadership workshops to uncover pain points. Next, you'll want to clarify core values and your mission. Ensure employees understand and embrace the new company's vision. And yes, it is considered an entirely new company internally. And the very last thing I'll mention here is implement change management strategies. Frankly, I suggest you do this within the first 90 days. But I suggest rolling this out in the second phase because now you should have a better idea of what's changing, how you're cutting costs, and what the migration plan might look like so both your employees and your customers understand the vision. You can do things like offering leadership coaching, DEI initiatives, and integration programs to support employee engagement. Cultural alignment isn't just about avoiding friction, it's also about fostering a high performing, motivated workforce that fully supports the new entity's mission. By optimizing operations, refining customer integrations, and strengthening cultural cohesion, the business moves from stability to true synergy, unlocking long term value from this merger. Lastly, here, we'll focus on months 10 through 12. We're in the home stretch now. I like to refer to this as your accelerate growth and future proof the organization. As you approach the 1 year mark, it will come fairly quickly. The focus should shift from integration to long term scalability. By now, foundational efficiencies should be in place, and leadership can shift its attention to accelerate growth, optimizing decision making, and leveraging technology for sustained success. The first point here is streamline decision making structures. With two organizations coming together, decision making can become kind of sluggish if roles, responsibilities, and authority levels aren't clearly defined. To prevent any bottlenecks, you'll want to ensure agility. First, clarify leadership hierarchies, ensure decision rights are well structured, minimizing redundancies and conflicts. Okay. You'll want to decentralize where necessary. Empower teams with the autonomy to make decisions at the appropriate levels to drive efficiency. I also want to mention that you should enhance your cross departmental collaboration. Foster a culture of communication between teams to break down any silos and accelerate execution. A lean and efficient decision making framework ensures the organization can move faster and remain competitive in the market. Next up here, I want you to invest in automation and technology enhancements. Once the core IT systems are stabilized, the next step is to leverage technology for efficiency and competitive advantage. Key focus areas to include are process automation. You want to identify repetitive manual tasks that can be automated to increase productivity and reduce costs. And by the way, this is the best cost cutting exercise any company can get. And the next one here is AI and analytics. And I know AI is in the spotlight right now, and I hate to jump on that bandwagon because not all AI is created the same, but that's for another video. You'll want to implement data driven insights to enhance things like forecasting, customer engagement, and operational efficiency. Don't cut corners here or Google. Process map. Next, you'll want to look at cloud and cybersecurity improvements. Ensure the organization has a scalable, secure infrastructure to support growth. Strategic technology investments at this stage will create a foundation for long term innovation and agility. And the last thing I'll mention to close out this 1 year mark is benchmark progress and refine your strategies. You're 12 months in, it's time to take a step back and assess whether the merger has delivered on its promise or not. And this means measuring key performance indicators. We've spoken about this before, but you're now 12 months in. You really do need to evaluate revenue growth, cost synergies, customer retention, and employee engagement metrics. Next, you'll need to gather stakeholder feedback. By now, you've established who your key stakeholders are, so you'll want to conduct executive reviews, employee surveys, and a customer sentiment analysis to identify gaps. And to successfully close out your 12th month, adjusting course where needed. This is the time where you should really be refining your strategies based on data and insights, market shifts, and operational learnings. By taking a data driven approach, leadership can fine tune the integration process and ensure the business is positioned for sustained success beyond the 1 year. At this stage, the merger transitions from integration mode to full scale optimization, setting the organization up for long term resilience, innovation, and market leadership. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but remember, operational efficiency isn't just about cutting costs, it's also about improving performance without sacrificing quality. One of the fastest ways to destroy value post merger is losing key talent. Let's review why and what you can do about it. So, let's go over why employees leave post merger. Uncertainty about the future, lack of leadership communication, and cultural clashes between the two merged teams. Here are some solutions to consider. Create a clear leadership transition plan. We just covered some of that. Next, you'll want to offer retention incentives for key executives and specialists. And lastly, here, over communicate. Yes, I said over communicate. Engagement starts with transparency. Conduct regular, what I'll call pulse surveys to measure employee morale and make adjustments before turnover becomes a crisis. Even well integrated companies can stagnate if they stop evolving. Continuous improvement is key. Let me give you some best practices for ongoing optimization. Conducting regular process audits. Find bottlenecks and deficiencies. You'll want to use data analytics, spot trends before they become problems. Ensure cross functional collaboration. Break down silos between legacy teams. Adapt to market shifts. Customer and industry needs change, so stay ahead of them. And remember, a well run company doesn't just fix problems. You'll never want to be in a reactive position. Prevent those problems before they occur. Not every part of a merged company will be successful, unfortunately. Sorry, I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but this is how you can decide whether to keep, fix, or sell an underperforming asset. Key questions to ask: does this business unit align with the long term strategy? Can it be fixed without excessive costs or risks? Does it still serve customer and market needs? If the answer is no to most of these, it's time to divest. Let's quickly go over a real case study before we close out the series. Procter& Gamble's, P&G's, divestiture over 100 of Procter& Gamble or P&G's divestiture of over 100 brands. This took place between 2014 and 2016. So for years, Procter& Gamble, I'll refer to them as P&G, was known for its massive portfolio of consumer brands. However, by 2014, the company was struggling with sluggish growth, operational inefficiencies, and declining shareholder value. P&G's leadership realized that managing a bloated portfolio was diluting the focus and the profitability. Some of the challenges were too many brands and too little focus. P&G had over 170 brands, many of which contributed little to no revenue. Next, the operational complexity. Managing a vast portfolio of stretched resources made supply chain and marketing efforts ineffective. And lastly, market pressures. Competition from agile niche brands and private labels actually eroded P&G's market dominance. The decision to divest began in 2014. P&G's CEO announced a strategic divestiture plan to shed more than 100 brands and focus on its top performing categories. The outcome here was P&G sold off underperforming brands such as Clairol, Wella, Duracell, and a large portfolio of beauty brands to a company called Coty, which has over 50 brands today, most of which you would know, for $12.5 billion. P&G's operational efficiency significantly improved, reducing costs and streamlining manufacturing. P&G's stock price rose by 15% over the next few years as profitability increased. By 2016, P&G had a leaner, more focused business with just 65 core brands, driving stronger financial performance. A key takeaway here is that large corporations often hold on to underperforming or non core businesses for too long, thinking that they add value. Strategic divestitures free up capital, improve operational efficiency, and drive shareholder returns. Post merger optimization isn't just about surviving this transition, it's about thriving long term. Companies that track the right KPIs, optimize processes, retain key talent, and continuously improve outperform those that don't. If you're thinking about either buying or selling a business, make sure you think beyond the deal, not just about the prospect of growth, but operational opportunities you have to drive success, because that is where the real value is created.